Return to the legacy of President Jimmy Carter. At 100 years old, he was our longest living president. And during that time, the former president impacted many residents right here in the tri-state area. WCPO 9's Craig Cheatham spoke with people in our area who had the opportunity to meet him and are still inspired by his kindness and humility.
I know what it means to work for a living.
Jimmy Carter, the Georgia peanut farmer and Sunday school teacher who became president, has inspired many of us with his work ethic and generosity.
I saw that with his visit to the Ark. He was just like an ordinary person, actually, and talked about his love for woodworking. That's one of the things I remember.
Ken Ham, the founder and CEO of Ark Encounter in Grant County, gave Carter a tour of the massive Ark replica in 2016, 3 weeks before it opened to the public. Ham says his head architect, Leroy Troyer, had worked with Carter on Habitat for Humanity projects and invited the former president and his wife, Rosalind, to see the Ark.
I've never had an experience like that in my life.
Ham says Carter treated them to lunch at a crowded Cracker Barrel in Dry Ridge, where they talked about baseball, woodworking, and peace in the Middle East.
I really felt like we were all friends when he left. He was just such a friendly person.
That was about 7 months after Jimmy Carter announced he had beaten brain cancer.
Jimmy Carter was a peacemaker.
Ohio State Representative Cecil Thomas says Carter is one of the political leaders who inspired him to pursue public service.
How often did we see him with his sleeves rolled up, helping out, doing something? That speaks to the character of an individual who cares.
At the Ark Encounter, there are memories and mementos, including the hard hat signed by Jimmy Carter.
So I'm going to treasure that. That'll be one of the things I'll definitely treasure.
Just one of many reminders of his one day with our longest living U.S. president. Craig Cheatham, WCPO 9 News.
And in February of last year, President Jimmy Carter entered hospice at the age of 98. And at that time, we got a clearer picture of how his legacy will live on right here in Cincinnati through an effort from Habitat for Humanity. WCPO 9 News anchor Craig McKee spoke with the organization's leadership, who shared the influence President Carter had on their mission.
Sure. How you doing today?
Right now, volunteers are building, repairing, or renovating homes across the greater Cincinnati area.
This year, we'll build or renovate 17.
Okay.
But we've done 680.
Just in the greater Cincinnati area? 680.
680.
Wow.
Tracy Wells is with Habitat for Humanity, an organization with a mission to build home ownership. And we're walking around two of the current builds in Oxford, Ohio, part of a small community of Habitat homes here.
For many families, they're multi-generational renters, and owning their own home is like something they never imagined they could do.
Through Habitat, future homeowners put in between 250 to 500 hours of sweat equity into the build and end up with a 0% mortgage and a home they can call their own. It's a mission former President Jimmy Carter believed in, spending countless volunteer hours swinging a hammer here in the U.S. and abroad.
Somebody like the Carters, who for 40 years have rolled up their sleeves and worked right alongside volunteers, building, repairing, restoring over 4,300 homes, changing 4,300 lives. That's an exceptional legacy.
We've jumped one street over to where more Habitat for Humanity homes have been built, and while the Carters have never swung a hammer here, there is an everlasting reminder of President Carter's impact on the mission. The naming of the street, and that was important for you guys. Why?
Just to honor his legacy, because it is so unusual to have someone of his magnitude be an ambassador for an organization like ours.
What are your thoughts on President Carter's influence on this mission?
He's certainly the reason, he is the reason that I had first heard of Habitat for Humanity.
John Nolan began volunteering over 10 years ago and finds it just as fulfilling today as he did on his first job site.
Painting a wall, nailing a stud into place, putting kitchen cabinets into place. You're doing something permanent that maybe will outlive you, and in any case, it'll be part of a happy home for a family that probably has little chance of getting a home otherwise.
There's something that sparked in him to come out and be doing this that long. What does that mean to you, to have volunteers that understand this mission and want to keep coming back?
We have volunteers that are on our build sites 2 days a week. These are exceptional, volunteers. We need more of them, because I'll be honest, this volunteer group's aging. and to have that level of dedication is very hard to replace.
One thing's for certain, future volunteers will continue to build on the legacy Jimmy Carter leaves behind. Craig McKee, WCPO 9 News.